Hi guys, welcome back. In this video I'm going to be field testing my new Hikmicro Alpex day and night scope. I've currently got it fitted to my CZ457 22LR. I will just say there's going to be no quarry shot in this video. I am going to be doing a rabbit video using this setup a little bit later on, but for now what I wanted to do was show you guys what this scope is like. I'm going to quickly run through the main features of it. I'm then going to be putting it to paper, get the scope sighted in using the one-shot zero. And then I'm just going to show you some different ranges during the day of what the scope is like, its capabilities, and I'm going to do the same thing at night. Now when it comes to the nighttime test, I'm going to carry out another test. Now basically what I'm going to do is, with this scope when you buy it, HIK provide their own illuminator, and I want to see A, how good this is, and B, how it compares to the TX30A optics fire that I normally use. Now this is a great compact little torch, it really is. So I want to find out if I think this one is better, this one's better, do I think they're about the same, but we'll find that out a little bit later on. So what I'll do is quickly show you the main features of the scope. I'll be then sighting in the scope, and I'm going to be using HIK's own app for this. So basically you guys get to see what I see through the scope. We'll run through it, do the one-shot zero, hopefully put this spot on in the middle, and then yeah, it'd be good to go then. Occasionally you might hear the odd shot. Now Clint has actually gone out and bought one of these scopes, and he's currently fitting it to his 243. I think he said he's going to set it up for about 100 yards, so once he's done that I'm going to grab hold of him and get his thoughts on it as well. A lot of you may know that both of us are massive ATM fans, so it's going to be interesting to get his thoughts on this scope. Does he think it's any better than the ATM? We'll find out a bit later. So for now I'll just show you the main features and then we'll get on with the zeroing. Okay, starting at the front of the scope, we've got the flip up lens cover. I actually prefer this than the sprung loaded ones because sometimes you might get caught out in the rain, and to be able to position it just over the objective lens to help keep any raindrops off, that's a great little touch that. Moving back, you've got the focus for the objective lens, move it left and right. 30mm tube. The turret on the top is for the CR123 battery. The turret on the right is for charging the scope, and inside there they've got a little LED indicator that shows red when the scope's charging and green when it's fully charged. The turret on the left is for the main menu of the scope, so you can rotate round whichever setting it is that you're after. The button at the top of the scope is a power button. Push and hold for about 3 seconds to activate the scope, then it's ready to go after about 7 seconds. Push it again and it puts it into standby mode, and then push and hold to turn the scope off. The button on the left is the photo and video record button, and the button on the right is for changing it from day to night mode, and a quick press puts the picture in picture mode on. And at the back of the scope you've got the adjustment for the rear ocular to make the image nice and crisp. This scope does actually come with a rubber eye cup on the back. Personally I don't like them, so I have actually taken mine off. So this is the target I'm using. As you can see, I'm going to sight it in for 50 yards. The 3 circles on the right hand side, the black circles, are the 3 shots I just had, the point of impact. I wanted to see where the scope was shooting initially, and the larger one is actually the last shot that I had, so I'm going to be using this as my reference when it comes to using the one-shot zero on the scope, and hopefully put it right about there. Let's see how we get on. Okay, so I'm on the app now, and we need to make the adjustment for the reticle. So what you do is you push and hold the menu button, click the reticle option, and it gives you another menu: reticle distance, type, colour, zoom, freeze, and the adjustment setting at the bottom. So I'm going to go down to the freeze mode, freeze option. I'm going to leave the reticles green because it stands out a bit better. Hold the crosshair over the centre of the target and then push the menu button. Okay, so once we've done that, we scroll down again to the adjustment setting, push the menu button, and that gives us the right to left adjustment. So what I'm going to do, move it to the right, push the menu button, and then scroll up to where the last shot was, which is about there. Push the menu button again, push and hold the menu button and it says save the parameters. Click OK. Takes you back to the main menu. Then push the button again and it takes you back to the main screen. So all we have to do now is take a shot and hopefully it'll be somewhere near the target. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So that freeze frame function works absolutely brilliantly. Okay, so I've just grabbed Clint. He sighted it in on his 243. So what's your first impressions then, mate?
Brilliant scope, absolutely robust, solid, feels quality. Put it on the board at 50 yards, move back to 100, and the one shot zero, bang on. Couple of shots, absolutely bang on.
Yeah, I found that as well. The one shot zero is phenomenal on it. So,
and the clarity of it is amazing.
Yeah, it was like I was saying, I took the rubber eye cup off, but you said it was absolutely brilliant with it on.
Made such a difference having it on.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, looking forward to putting it through its paces.
Yeah, definitely. Nighttime shooting.
Nighttime, yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So there we go. Even Clint gives it the thumbs up.
Definitely the thumbs up.
So yeah, it's nice to have someone else's opinion on it. Clint's very much like me, give an honest view of what he thinks, but I'm going to put him right on the spot now. What do you think, first impressions of this compared to the ATN?
There's no competition, mate.
No competition.
That is just awesome.
Better?
Yeah. Hikmicro's got it nailed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I must admit, we're both ATM fans, and our first impressions of this scope, it's better, I would say. Definitely better.
Stylish, doesn't it? It's
does.
got that look to it.
Yeah, it's got that traditional scope look, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there we go. There's the thoughts of Clint, and what we're going to do is just have a wander around. Like I say, I was going to show you some footage, different ranges of the scope, and then we'll be doing a nighttime session as well.
Looking forward to that one, mate.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Now this gateway is 395 yards. As we move up the field to the next hedgerow, that's at 615 yards, and the downs behind that is a further 200 yards. Firstly, I'd just like to say that the rifle is completely safe, and these cows that we're looking at now are 155 yards away. This rabbit that we're looking at now is 60 yards away. And these two rabbits are 120 yards away. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys this. I'm going to demonstrate the Twilight mode of the scope now. Now, this is filmed through my camcorder at the moment. This is how I see it. That hedge in the background is about 160, 170 yards away. So as you can see, the light is fading really quick, and there's no way you could tell if there was a fox or a rabbit or anything on that hedgerow, none whatsoever. So what I'm going to demonstrate now is the same range with the scope pointing at that hedge, and to show you how good the Twilight mode is on it. And here we are looking at exactly the same hedge, but through the scope this time. And as you can see, that Twilight mode is brilliant. You'd have no trouble whatsoever seeing a fox walking down that hedgerow, or perhaps a rabbit sat there. And finally, here's Charlie. He's about 90 yards away and I'm using my IR illuminator. And here he is again while I'm using the Hikmicro illuminator. So there we go. I'm going to give you my honest opinion on this scope now, the pros and cons, and yeah, there are a couple of things I don't like about it. Well, there's three actually. And I'm going to start with those first, and the main one is the start-up time. Now, from holding the button down to being able to shoot through this scope, you're looking around 7-8 seconds. It's too long. Compare it to the Pulsar C50 and even the ATM 4K Pro, this thing is just too long. It could make the difference between you getting a shot off and not, especially if you're at night out looking for a fox, for argument's sake. You spot one with your thermal, you're holding this down, the shot could be gone. I'd like to see Hick get the start-up time down to at least 5 seconds at the most. 4 would be brilliant, but for me, that's too long. Secondly, zoom function. Now, I absolutely love this zoom function. When you go from the base mag out to the maximum, it's brilliant. When you start coming back down to the base mag, you come back one click, it slowly progresses to halfway. But when you go again to come back down to the base mag, it's instant. There's no slow progression, and I don't know why. It should be all the way back down to the base mag. If it was the same going up and coming down, that would be fantastic. But for some reason, they've done it, it just drops straight back to the base mag really, really quickly. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that, but the rest of it is absolutely spot on. And the other thing is, and it's only a little niggle really, I'd like to have seen more reticle options in it. You get 5, and yes, I've chosen one which I'm going to use all the time, but with the C50 you get about 10. I think the ATN you get, I don't know, about 8 I think it is. I'd like to have seen more reticle options, but like I say, it's here nor there really. I'm sure there's a reticle in there that everyone will like, but I'd like to have seen a bit more in the way of options with that. But other than that, those are the 3 things that I just don't like about the scope. They're not enough for me to turn around and say, right, I'm going to take this off, put it back in the box and send it away, or sell it. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to do that. They're not that bad, but they're just 3 little niggles that I'd like to see better in it. But like I say, the plus points certainly outweigh it. Like I said earlier, this little flip-up cover is perfect. You can set it to wherever you want, or even put it round to the side, you know, depending on, like, if you've got an IR torch up at the top. Incidentally, I am going to be using my torch. It's not that there's anything wrong with Hick's own one that they supplied, and it is just as good as the one that I'm using. It's just that mine is on an adjustable mount, so I can put that beam absolutely spot on in the middle. So that's the only reason why I'm going to continue using mine. The actual ergonomics of the scope, the fact it looks like a traditional scope, absolutely brilliant. The buttons are easy to use, the menu system's easy to use, I've found, navigating your way around it, no problem whatsoever. During the day, very clear image. The only thing that let it down, but it's not the fault of the scope, it's down to me, is not having the rubber eye cup on the back. If you're walking across the field and the sun's behind you, and you get the natural light coming in the back, it does darken the image a hell of a lot. I was sort of cupping my hand around the end of it sort of thing, just trying to see what I was looking at. But like I say, that's not the fault of the scope, that is because I took the rubber eye cup off, and people may say, well, put it back on, but I don't like using them. So that's something I have to put up with. So, but that's here nor there really. So just be warned, if you do shoot without it, you will have that problem with it. But the thing that I love about this thing more than anything is using it at night. It is fantastic. I actually prefer using this at night than I do during the day. Like you saw, I used the 2 torches. They're equally as good. They really are. I will be trying a Solaris SRX laser on it. I want to see if it whites out at all. So over the next few days I shall be trying that on there, and I will let you guys know how I get on with that. I am going to be doing a rabbit video very, very soon with this. I'm going to do it at night, maybe get a couple of shots during the day as well if I can, but mainly at night. So yeah, I will be using my torch with it, but yeah, it is just a great scope at night to use. Really, really is. I love it. Now, a lot of people have asked me, is this better than the ATN, the 4K? Honestly, it's marginal, in my opinion, very marginal. The start-up time is the big thing that lets it down, so the A10 wins hands down with that. But other than that, the fact that it looks like a traditional scope, the settings are easy to use, at night it's brilliant. I personally think it's better than the ATN, and the ATN's great at night, it really is. But these are just my thoughts, my opinions. I don't want people saying, well, I sold my ATN and bought that, it's a load of rubbish. You've got to try it yourself. You really have got to try it yourself. And the footage that you saw on the video doesn't do it justice. I know it sounds like an old cliche and people saying, you know, you've got to see it through the scope yourself and all the rest of it, but you generally do. This is a brilliant scope, and for 800 quid, I think it's a bargain. I really do. The app was easy to use on it as well. Records on there as well. You know, it's all there. The package is there. Just a couple of little things that I don't like, but like I say, I wouldn't turn around and say don't buy it because it takes ages to start up. You know, for anyone who's familiar with the infrared thermal imaging, I have one of those as well, and that took ages to start up. But it's just one of those things. So yeah, my overall opinion of the scope is it's fantastic. I absolutely love it, and it's going to be staying on the CZ for quite some time. I'm not going to get rid of the ATN. It will come back out again and have another trip out, but for now, I'm just going to use this. Absolutely love it. So there we go, guys. That's my field test on the Hikmicro Alpex scope. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, the next video coming up will be to do with me using this out in the field at night. Like I say, if I can get a couple during the day, great. If not, it's going to be mainly a nighttime session. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.